I grew up in a Catholic family. I was baptized. I went to a Catholic school, in elementary school. Um, I had my first communion. I was an altar boy when I was a kid. I loved going to church. I knew the catechism at heart. I even had confirmation. But for some reason, after confirmation, I just moved away. Everything that was taught to me seemed like not enough. I knew the doctrine perfectly. But still, I didn't know who Jesus really was for me personally. And actually, what happened when I was 19 years old, a friend of mine who was part of the youth group of the parish asked me one day, would you mind coming one Saturday with us? And I said, where? Now I was thinking to go maybe to visit someone or to another place or out for a pizza. And he says, well, you'll come and see. So I arrived there, and there's this priest dressed with this black habit and a heart on his chest. And I was kind of says, wait, whoa, what is happening now? Where are we going? And we end up in a hospital in Italy, especially in the section where there are people mentally ill. Obviously, I was scared, but I went in, and I kind of was looking all these people with stigmatized eyes, actually, like, oh, whoa, who are these people? And I felt threatened. I felt like that was not my place. And we go into the chapel, and we start Mass. It was the most bizarre Mass that I ever participated to. Screaming, yelling, laughing, talking, dancing, sitting down when you're supposed to stand up when you're supposed to sit down, singing when the priest was preaching. It was a mess. But still that day, something touched me. There was a revelation. And it's like all the doctrine that was taught to me became flesh. It's like at that point I said, okay, now I know, Jesus, who you are for me. It's not enough to know all the doctrine by heart. Even like some cultural circles who want to reestablish the doctrine how it's supposed to be. It's never changed, actually. And thinking that that will fix the world. Well, we had centuries in which state and church was one thing. We had centuries trying always to reestablish the Christendom. And look where we are. What were the results? And Jesus asks us today, not only who do the others tell us who he is, but at a certain point he asks us personally, who am I for you? Who do you say that I am? And each one of us has to answer that question. Yes, the revelation is to everyone. It's one truth for the whole church. But personally, I have to meet him. It's a relationship. It's not just learning rules. It's not just learning the doctrine. It's a relationship, a personal relationship with him. And when Peter answers, you are the Christ, because he's the one who speaks up, Jesus precisely tells him, blessed are you because this does not come from flesh and blood, as to say, you don't know this because you're better than others. And knowing this doesn't make you any better. In fact, the gospel continues when Jesus announces his passion and death, and Peter says, no, this is not going to happen to you, and he's called Satan. That's how he's defined. So to know the doctrine, and to even know Jesus him personally who he is, to have that revelation in your heart, doesn't actually make you really better than others. But what happens is that you're able to recognize where he truly is, because in the Gospel of Matthew, the same gospel that we heard today, Jesus says that he is identified, you can find him, and he is identified with the poor, the thirsty, the hungry, the sick, those in prison, the foreigner. And so only when you recognize him there, then you can say that you know him. And not because you deserve it, but it's just grace. Because then you understand how he can be present in your own life. So let us ask today Jesus to receive this revelation, to really understand each one of us in our own heart, who he truly is, and be able to answer that question that is put to each one of us today. Who do you think I am?